Welcome to the Nick Dealer and Bill podcast, where we talk about stuff and more stuff. Welcome. How we doing today? So, today we're talking about, St. Patrick's Day and, things that people do on St. Patrick's Day to go out and get tanked, attempt to drive home, get DWs, all that non-fun $3,000 costs and stuff, man. Whatever happened to just staying home and drinking and, having a good time, listening to a band, man, these kids suck nowadays. And I say that, as a 37-year-old dude, and, I start thinking about these kids and just the poor decisions that are being made daily. And I talk to people that are just a little bit older than me, and they say they did the same things when they were kids. They went out and drank and and drove around, but it was different for some reason for them. They say stuff like, oh well, you get pulled over or whatever. Back then, cops would follow you home or take you home. And we didn't really get arrested and get a DWI and need a lawyer and all that stuff that happens nowadays, but at some point, you broke the law and you could have killed somebody, so I'm not sure that things are exactly different. I know that the number of DWIs has gone up, but I can't say that it's because, there are more people doing it. All I can say is that enough people have been killed to the point where, it was a major problem and it needed to be fixed, I've never gotten a DWI, which is good and cool, mostly because I can't afford it. But a couple other things is that, usually when I drink, it's at home, like right now. Or like I'll be at a friend's house or something, and I'll stay the night there if I've had too much, or we get a little older, a little wiser, as we grow in age. But today I'm just thinking about things about St. Patrick's Day and the whole Kiss Me, I'm Irish thing, and, a lot of stuff, how time has changed since we get older. A lot of people go out. I did see, they dyed the river in Chicago green, which is cool. I think that's, pretty awesome. Let's celebrate St. Paddy's Day. Most of my buddies, growing up on Long Island, were Irish. So they used to kind of have a big go at it today. Of course, we celebrate St. Patrick's Day, because this is the day that St. Patrick actually passed away. I think he was a Christian missionary, and he passed away in 461 AD. So about more than 1,500 years ago. He wrote a book called Confessio during his last years. He was born in Scotland. And most of the things that we know about him was, he was a slave, and he was like a sheep herder living in Ireland, and he had a dream, the voice of the Irish or something, where he did, he was going to be a priest, and he was ordained, and pretty much lived poor all his life, and he just tried building churches and eventually died on this day, March 17th in 461. That's pretty much everything that I know about St. Paddy's Day. Somehow that got turned into a, hey, let's get bombed day. But, whatever. Whatever works, man. We only go around once, so I guess you have fun while you're here. Another thing that I wanted to talk about today was Kenmore. That's right. Kenmore washing machines in particular. I've got one of them, and guess what, man? This thing, it has figured out more ways to break and malfunction than I can even fathom. It doesn't help that my wife washed some paintbrushes in there and some towels and clogged up the pump and broke the impeller inside the pump. And then there were some rags stuck in this black tubey drainy looking thing that's inside that goes from the tub to the drain pump. So I basically had to take this thing apart like 3-4 times to fix it. And then the hose clamps that they give you, they're not like regular hose clamps as we know them with the nut driver. They're like these squeeze ones that you need a pair of channel locks that spread to like 3 inches wide just to be able to get it on. Which, in so many words, made me very angry because it's extremely hard to get to. I don't even have gigantic hands either, but it's extremely hard to get to and really obnoxious to get back on. So after all the repairs are done, I do a load, it leaks like a sieve from these hose clamps. So this morning I'm like, you know what? Forget about it, man. I'm going to Lowe's. Of course, you can never find anything in Lowe's. But anyway, man, I talked to a couple of people in there and like, oh, we don't have that. We don't have that. We don't have that. And I said, it's a hose clamp. What do you mean you don't have it? So after the guy says, oh, we don't make them like that. Okay. So I take a walk around the store, and I'm looking at the dryer vents and that stuff. And there they are, hose clamps. They're made for dryer vents or whatever when they're above 3 or 4 inches or whatever. So anyway, I bought one of those and I bought a smaller one for the actual drain. And got home, put the hoses together, clamped them back on, ran a load. Everything's working great. Like 3 minutes later, I see drip, drip, drip. But it's not, you're not going to believe it, man. It's not from the 2 hoses that I just replaced and clamped. No. Now the darn thing is leaking from the actual tub, which I don't know how that works. I guess, water is the most corrosive thing on the planet. It just ate a hole somewhere or whatever. So now that's leaking too, and man, I'll never buy another Kenmore thing again. It's just, I put over $100 into this thing in the last week here, and it just keeps giving me grief. And you hear the bugle call in the back. That means it's 11 p.m. here in beautiful Fayetteville, North Carolina. I live right next to an Army base, so at 5 o'clock every day, we hear the reveille for dinner. And then at 11 o'clock, it tells them lights out. That little thing goes on. I don't even know if you heard it, but I can hear it. I do these podcasts right here from my garage and, just kind of think of stuff to say because, man, I'm just trying a new outlet. My band's not playing right now. My drummer, he shattered his kneecap, so he can't really play. And, the other guys are kind of off doing other things. So, without a band playing, I don't have that many outlets going on other than my barbershop, which I love dearly, but there's already barbershop webcasts out there, so I didn't want to do one of those. In fact, I didn't know what kind of podcast I wanted to do, so I figured I'd just say I'd talk about stuff. This way I can pretty much talk about whatever I want. And not be limited to 1 or 2 things or, I don't want to talk about the same things week in, week out. So the first 2 episodes that I did were music related. One with Megadeth, and then the second episode with Green Day. And this third episode is, you know what? I don't know what it is right now. I'm just trying things because reasons, and again, I'm looking for an outlet. So I don't know if you know or not, but I'm a janitor for a living. That's what I do. Is I clean schools, offices, salons, that kind of stuff. And it comes to a point where I start getting really bored with the music that's on my phone. I have like 30 gigs of music on my phone, and somehow, I still get bored and looking for new stuff on my phone. So, at the recommendation of my buddy Tom, I started listening to podcasts and downloading podcasts, and I found some gems, that I like. I like the PFW in Progress podcast, which features my New England Patriots. That's right, I'm a Patriots fan. And I like the Joe Rogan Experience. Sometimes it seems like 3-hour-long episodes are just a bit much, but I still love the show, nevertheless. So, I've been listening to stuff like that, and then while talking to my buddy Tom, we figured out, hey, why not make our own podcasts? It'll give us something to do while we're at work, to listen to. So he's going to do some podcasts, and I'm going to do some podcasts. We'll kind of listen to each other's podcasts and, critique each other or whatever, talk about stuff. And eventually, we'll call in or whatever to each other, or try to figure out how to sync them up. But, for right now, I am El Solo, just kind of doing my own thing. And, I just wanted to do something different since I'm not playing in a band right now. Anyway, like, on to bigger and better things. I'm going to do some more of these podcasts, and I've got it submitted to iTunes and iHeartRadio to try to see if I can get them to go on the iTunes store. This way, you can download them and listen to them at your leisure instead of having to go to my Facebook page and click on them and then use data streaming them. I mean, if you're home, obviously you won't be using data, but on Wi-Fi you won't be using data either. But just kind of an easier way to market it and to download it. Right now, you can go to my Facebook page to listen to these full podcasts, which is probably how you found out about it. And it's at Nicholas DiLorenzo Music is the tag for it. Or you can just go to Nicholas DiLorenzo Facebook page, and there's a picture of a guitar there. And I post all the new episodes on there and all that. So, feel free, man, to share them with your friends, share them with your buddies, and like them, and and if you have things that you want to talk about on the podcast, you can call into me and we'll conference, or you can leave comments there. You can email me at any time at nicholas.dilorenzo22@gmail.com. And that'll be cool too. We can talk. We can, get to know each other and, hopefully have some fun. In the meantime, stay cool. Happy St. Paddy's Day to all of you. I hope you have a great time, but not too great of a time. And I'll see you next time on the Nick DiLorenzo podcast. This has been another unpredictable episode of the Nick DiLorenzo podcast, where we talk about